Mohammed Mustapha Leke. We have your CV. We just want you to introduce yourself. If there's anything that we left out in the CV that you want to tell us about, or if there's anything else you want to emphasize. But please no need for you to go line by line your CV. We already got your CV. Just a brief introduction, then we'll take questions. Over to you.
Your Excellency, distinguished Senate President, distinguished Deputy Senate President, distinguished principal officers of the Senate, and all distinguished senators. I also want to pay homage to my senators from my state, Senator Ali Mekena, Senator Clifford Odia, and Senator Matthew Ogoreje. My name is Dr. Mohammed Mustapha Leke. I am from Auchi in Edo State. I went to school, primary school and secondary school around Auchi, and did my higher school HSC in Ijebu-Ode. I went to University of Ibadan for first year before I went overseas on scholarship to the United States of America. I went to University of California at Berkeley, and I also went to Harvard University in the US. I did my NYSC with the National Population Commission in Lagos, 1986-87. I feel especially honored and privileged to take the floor of the Senate for confirmation as INEC Electoral Commissioner. I should also thank Almighty God and Mr. President for putting my name up for this solemn assignment. I've had extensive national and international experiences over the years, having previously served in very strategic, high policy level, working both within the country and outside the country, both with the UN organizations as well as bilateral organizations. I'm presently the Executive Secretary, the CEO of a leading civil society organization, which is the Health Reform Foundation of Nigeria. Before that time, I had worked as a director in the Federal Ministry of Health for 8 years and retired at the end of 2010, December 2010. And in between that time, I'd also worked as Executive Secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme. I have been involved in the design and implementation of major national policies in this country, particularly in the health sector, for over 20 years. Issue of health policies, MDGs, national health plans, and many others as detailed in my CV. I have also played a leading role in drafting of legislation, plus undertaking legislative advocacy, some of which have led to the passage of National Health Act by this very distinguished Senate sometime last year. I believe, distinguished senators, that I have the requisite educational, professional leadership, and managerial skill, as well as ability to take decisions, and also have a proven track record that I believe will help me to exceed the expectations and performance as an electoral commissioner in INEC. With my confirmation by this distinguished Senate, I make a solemn undertaking that I will work with my colleagues and staff at INEC in ensuring that INEC will take all necessary steps to adhere to first-class international best practices in our electoral processes. I thank you, distinguished Senator. I present myself for confirmation.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Robert Ajayi, representing Ondo North Senatorial District. Mr. Nominee, there is no doubt in the mind of Nigerians that the use of the card reader in the last election improved the integrity of the election. Now, at the state level, the local government elections that we have witnessed so far have not been fair and free. Will you recommend that it should be mandatory that local government elections are conducted the same way in the last election, that is, the use of card reader? Thank you. Mr. President, sir, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Madam Ali Wakili, MNI. Sir, on a personal note, I will ask you a simple question on your CV. I don't know what happened in 2012, you didn't pay tax. One. Secondly, and the last question, on the benefit of hindsight, Nigeria's election has been characterized by manipulation, thuggery, and other things that often can lead to a Hobbesian state of nature, where life is nasty, brutish, and short. As an intended nominated federal commissioner, in a simple term, what do you think are the problems of the Nigerian electoral system? Thank you, sir.
Senator Dari.
My name is Senator Joshua Chibi Dari. I represent Plateau Central. Let me congratulate nominee Kobin Fanu, worthy to be appointed as a commissioner in INEC by Mr. President. My first question has been taken by Wakil, but the second question was about tax. Because as accountants, we want people to pay tax. Number two, I saw at the last page another Mohammed Mustapha Yaro Pleki. Is that an additional name? If yes, there's no affidavit attached here to say that I, formerly known and called as this and that, has had an additional name. Is this a mistake, a deliberate one? Number two, you've done a lot on MDG. By December, as is widely said in the print and electronic media, the MDG will be winding up and be replaced by sustainable development. What are the silent or the major future of that sustainable development? Why do they have to replace MDG, especially when they have to look at area of health, education, water, sanitation, where there was peculiar attendant problem? Would you say MDG was a success? Given the wide disappointment of citizenry that were living in Oba slum, as adjudged by UN Habitat Report. Lastly, if you were given a special assignment by the federal government to the northeast, which is faced by the challenge of Boko Haram, what specific program of action, accelerated action, given their health challenge, would you recommend to Mr. President? And what are the specific targets, especially the IDPs? Thank you.
Okay, Mr.
Okay. Distinguished senators, on the issue of local government areas, elections, as to whether or not the use of card readers is something that should be countenanced, I like to humbly submit that the role, the place of technology is irreversible. It is irreversible. And this is so because technology enhances efficiency and transparency. So, even at the local government level, or even below that level, maybe at the unit level, we are beginning to see the permeation of the use of technology. People are using the cell phones, people are doing internet banking and stuff like that. So which means we can extend the benefit of such technology to almost all phases of our lives. So I believe why we should not do a knee-jerk reaction in extending this technology, because you need to build the enabling environment, including citizen engagement and education and stuff like that, as an active ongoing program. I believe, sir, distinguished senators, that it will be something that we need to be pushing the envelope. We should be going at the cutting edge and look forward to that day in an incremental way in extending the use of IT to all phases of the electoral processes. So I do foresee, I have a dream, that that will become a reality, even at the LGA level. So on the issue of problems of Nigeria electoral system, well, clearly, I believe that since 1999, the return of democracy, we have had about 5 or so elections. And we must agree and commend ourselves as a nation that we have been making progress. We have been making progress increasingly. I don't believe we're there yet. Nobody can claim it's there yet, even in advanced countries. We've seen close electoral processing challenges, even in the US. But I believe that the country has gone and we're in the right trajectory, making this process, going forward. But clearly, a number of major challenges, remain. A number of major challenges remain, which will become something that the new INEC going forward we have to address. And I believe some of those things have to do with the issue of transparency, the issue of elected, related violence, issues of election offenses. We need to, and the issues of duty bearers, which is like INEC and all institutions of government, engaging with the right holders. The right holders are the people. So there are challenges. There are things that I think we can do to improve the electoral processes, going forward. Distinguished Senator, on the issue of my name, my name is Dr. Mohammed Mustapha Lekki. The Yaro is a name, it's my father's name. And sometimes I have it, I believe in some of my credentials with you, I don't have the benefit of going through and say, you will find that all my names are so spelled out. So it is my name, and it is a correct name. But distinguished Senator, more importantly, you raise the issue of the MDG, which are ending in December. Nigeria signed onto the MDG as a global national compact, just like our Servicom in Nigeria, which is a national compact. We signed onto that as a global compact, and Nigeria has made some progress. But we are not among the countries that successfully breast, the tape in achieving all the MDG goals. We did make, some progress. Now, the issues of health are not issues of finality. Clearly, we have not achieved all the MDG goals. And clearly, even when you achieve the goals as set at that time, you set new goals. You want to go on to the irreducible limits of these health outcomes. We are not there. So, some of these things need to be repackaged, and they are carrying them on. We have not jettisoned the issue of reproductive health, maternal health, child health. They are all now being repackaged with a sharper focus on the SDG. So it is a continuation, and we have not really forgotten about that. On the issue of the Northeast, unfortunately, there are areas of the country which are really, for one reason or the other, have major problems. Now, I believe that, as we have seen, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. When Europe and America and the world were involved in global conflagration, at the end of that, there was a Marshall Plan. We need a Marshall Plan. We need an intervention, call it whatever you may. We need to recognize there is an evilness and inequity as far as issues of health are concerned in this country, particularly when you look at the geographic distribution of this country. So we must identify that. It's not a competition really between the zones. It's a recognition of the fact that certain areas need to be specially addressed. And because of that, I think intervention is important, and we begin to see that it's even happening with some sort of priority being given to intervention in issues of maternal health and child health as far as the Northeast is concerned, inclusive of IBD's issues. I believe, sir, that those are the questions was asked. Distinguished Senator.